Hey everyone, this is Elise from Cycle9. So the other evening I had the opportunity to go to a talk that a friend of mine was giving, and the talk was on peak oil. And this is a concept that many of you might already be familiar with. If you're not familiar with it, basically the idea of it in a nutshell, I'll try to simplify it as much as possible, is that that the amount of energy, this is a good way to think about it, it's the amount of energy you get back based on the amount of energy you put forth in order to do something like mine a barrel of oil. So in the old days, when you think of, Texas gushers and things like that, you spent 1 unit of energy, you got about 50 units back, so it was a really great ratio. Currently in some of our oil wells, like in the Gulf and things like that, the ratio is about 15 to 1. So for every, essentially 1 barrel of oil expended drilling and transporting, you get about 15 barrels back. So it's a 15 to 1 ratio. There's lots of other oil sources out there that people talk about when we talk about, are we running out of oil? And there's lots of oil out there, but the thing is about it, it's much more energy intensive to mine it. So for example, the tar sands, and something that's brought up a lot, it's an area of the country in Canada and parts of the US where there's oil within the ground that can be mined, but it's very energy intensive. You only get about 2 times as much energy back as you expend to mine that. So that's a ratio of 2 to 1, considerably less than it has been. So the concept of peak oil really is not that we're running out of oil, but that the cheap oil, the really easy to get oil, has pretty much been mined, and now we're moving on to sources that are harder to get, take more energy to get, things like that. And there's a lot of information out there, and I'll put some links down below so you can read all about it if you're not familiar. But that's kind of the idea in a nutshell. So this talk that my friend gave was kind of about the idea and its consequences and things like that. And one of the things that I found really interesting, although a lot of the information in the talk wasn't new to me since I've been studying and researching this issue for quite a while, was really kind of where people were at in the crowd. When you first learn about the issue and you really think about it and really think about what the consequences could be, and based on how we live our lives and how many people are totally unaware that this is even an issue, it's really easy to kind of get into what they call the doomer phase. The doomer phase being panic about what is going to happen, and what is going to happen when all these people find out that, we're not going to be able to keep doing the things that we want to do. And it's very easy to get kind of in this sort of angst-ridden panic stage about it, and even to the point where a lot of people online, I mean, they like build bomb shelters basically with their own self-supported things, so that they can kind of feel like, if the end of the world happens, they're protected. So there were definitely some people in the crowd who kind of were in that phase. But I was really nice to see that there were a lot of people also in the crowd who've kind of moved beyond that phase. I think this is sort of a natural progression from awareness to panic to, okay, is panicking really doing me any good or our society any good? And what can we really do about this problem? What can we do to take positive personal and community action to really address the problem of peak oil, of climate change, of sustainability in general? And in our town here, we actually have a group. It's called Transition Town, which is a movement that's basically all about trying to get towns concerned and taking positive action about these things. And I'll put a link down below about Transition, because I think it's a great group. When I found out about it, I was really excited that there were other people who were taking positive action. And it also comes back to Cycle9 in terms of, this is one of the reasons we actually decided to start Cycle9, was because we wanted to move beyond this doomer phase into the positive action phase. And one of the things we really did, first personally, and then brought to more of a community through Cycle9, was really using the bikes more as transportation. It's a big area where we use a lot of oil, and changing our transportation is going to have a big effect on the future of our country. And so we really wanted to promote that and promote it as something that's not hugely difficult to do. And there's a lot of ways that you can ride your bike more that is not hugely difficult, and we really wanted to get the word out on that. So that was kind of one of the main founding reasons of Cycle9, actually probably the founding reason why we decided to even get into the business in the first place. So I just wanted to let you know about that. I'm going to put some links down below so you can read about some of these concepts if you're not familiar with. And I think it would also be good to think about what you're doing personally and what your town is. There anything in your town that's doing sustainable action that you could get involved with? Because it all kind of comes back to personal action. So thanks for listening, and this is Elise from Cycle9. Please leave a comment below, and feel free to join our Facebook group where I post little notes about new videos we've got, and also on Twitter I try to also send out tweets about different blogs and other interesting things related to sustainability and biking. So I hope you'll follow us there, and we'll see you tomorrow or next week. Thanks.